Welcome to episode 3 of Auto Academy, where we learn, wrench, and succeed. This episode is going to be all about your vehicle's owner's manual. Hopefully, inside of your glove box, your vehicle, you have some sort of book just like this. So this is the one out of that Mustang we were working with earlier. In case there was any confusion, it says right on there, 2018 Mustang Owner's Manual. If for some reason yours is missing, you might be able to find it online. If you want to head to a local junkyard, which we'll give more information about in a separate series of videos, and try and find one there, that's an option. Or you can always go on a website like eBay and type in your specific vehicle. So 2006 Ford Ranger Owner's Manual. You can usually find one available for between $20 to $50. If somebody's asking more than that, you either got one really rare car or you're looking in the wrong place. If you got questions or comments, make sure to comment down below and I can try and help you find one for your vehicle. But moving on. This, for learning the basics of your own car, is going to be quite important because each vehicle, though the same in many ways, has doors, engines, tires, all these different things we're going to learn to service and work on have different standards or maintenance intervals for how frequently those things need looked upon, inspected, or changed. And where we're going to find that information for your specific vehicle is going to be inside of this book right here. So I'll just give you some light cursory information for this Ford Mustang as to some of the things you can find in here. It gives a long list, a table of contents. That's going to be the same in just about every single one you have. Some of the things that goes over are things that I'm sure most of us don't need a book to figure out, such as how to put your seatbelt on, how to use the key, how to unlock the doors. But some things that are a little more specific and not even car maintenance related that you may find helpful in here is the symbols glossary. So what's that picture or light that came up on the dash that you're not sure what it means? What does it indicate? Or if you have kids, child safety information, how to install booster seats and the like. So just flipping through here, I've highlighted a few things that, again, I thought most people can find helpful. So for this Ford Mustang, one of the very first pages is our symbols glossary. Now, this is all information we'll go over throughout the entirety of this course, but it is stuff you can use in your day-to-day life right now. Hopefully we don't have too many, or ideally none of these indicator or warning lights on our dash, but if you didn't know what they are, here's a good way to define what they are and kind of what they're trying to indicate to you. Flipping further through here, just want to jump back to, hey, we found the fuse box under the hood of the car. Here's a number for each of the fuses, and on the following page it tells us what each of those controls. So as we move into the electrical course in one of the upcoming semesters, we'll know for our car, hey, where's the fuse for that electrical circuit that powers what we're trying to fix. Another indicator, as we talked about earlier, hey, we're going to use generic principles to identify stuff under the hood of our own car, but if we're unsure, Ford gives us an exact diagram. And if we look back, hey, there's that beautiful engine cover we took off earlier. Right there in that photo. Exact diagram with arrows showing us, hey, battery, engine oil filler cap, brake fluid reservoir, all the stuff we went over earlier. So that's a good way to kind of check your work on your findings for things you inspected under the hood. And then furthermore, inside most owner's manuals is going to be some sort of maintenance schedule. This is what we're going over later in this semester. What do we need to fix or change or maintain, and how frequently, with what parts? So these are all things you can find inside that owner's manual. Again, if you don't have one and you're kind of unsure or not confident yet to head out to your local junkyard, eBay, between 20 and 50 bucks, you should be able to find one. If you can't, comment down below. We'll make sure to help you find one for your vehicle. So up next, we'll show you what it looks like on a 2006 Jeep Liberty, 12 years older. All right, just like many of you may find, when I went to look in the glove box of this 2006 Jeep Liberty, I actually could not find an owner's manual. Luckily, I own a 2005 Jeep Liberty, so I grabbed the one out of there to make sure to get you guys that information. But gave me a pretty good opportunity to show you kind of what else you may find in your glove box. So this came out of my glove box. This is the factory kind of owner's manual setup. There was quite a few books inside. So which ones are owner's manual? Again, principles, principles, principles. Most things, if we just read, look, or try and use similarities between different things, we can figure out what's what. So these four, other than this one shows a really old school iPod on it, are really tiny little books. So if this is going to hold all the information for the vehicle, that's probably not it. But again, I would take a guess that this much bigger one, with way more information, is probably my owner's manual. That would be correct because when you look at the top, 2005 Jeep Liberty Owner's Manual. But even though this Jeep, or my Jeep, depending on which one you're picking, is 12 to 13 years older than that Ford Mustang, we're trying to learn how to work on every car, and those basic principles of the owner's manual still carry over almost identical to this owner's manual. So let's get into it real quick to kind of prove that out. So just like on the Mustang, this one has a large section kind of indicating, explaining everything going on the dash. Jeep was kind enough to label every little part of the dash. That way you know kind of what's going on in there. But if we flip the page, hey, there's all those weird lights and symbols. We didn't know what they were. There they are, and you flip the page a few more. There's each of those symbols defined with an explanation. So even if it's not something you can fix, you can confidently call the shop and say, hey, I have this light on. I have my tire pressure monitoring system light on. I have my oil light on. Instead of doing the goofy thing and calling and say, hey, my tea time light's on. My car doesn't sound happy. I'm sure they'll get you fixed, but you might hear a little giggle on the other end of the line. Moving on, just like on our Mustang, as we keep peeling on through here, hey, what do you know? A photo of under the hood, just like on the Mustang. Now there's a couple different engine options that come in these Jeeps, so it says, hey, if you have this one, that's where this stuff is. If you have this one, this is where it is. But since they're exact photos, hey, that one looks exactly like under the hood of our car. So now we even know our engine size. Good information labeling showing you where each thing and each fluid is. If we move further on, just like on the Mustang, hey, it's an indicator of where that fuse box was. The black plastic box that had all the little electrical bits in it, there's the indicator for it. And of course, if we flip a page, there's the definitions, what each fuse is numbered for and what circuit it controls. And finally, moving on, just like on the Mustang, as we continue, we have a service or maintenance schedule telling us what fluids need changed how frequently and why under which scenarios. And again, even though these vehicles have 12 years apart and your vehicle might be newer than the Mustang or older than the Jeep, these principles have been the same for nearly 60 years. So as long as you have one of these or you can get a hold of one, chances are you can figure out the things and follow along that we're going to cover in this course. If you're having a good time and you want to continue, make sure to like and subscribe. If you have questions and again can't find your own, comment down below. We'll make sure to help you find one and keep you following along. This has been Christian with Auto Academy, where we learn, wrench, and succeed.